The photo album hits the floor with a dull thud, scattering memories across the hardwood like dead leaves. I freeze on the stairs, my hand still gripping the banister, as my father's voice drifts up from his study. "We have to think about Olivia's future, Val. Canterbury Prep isn't cheap. Thomas, darling, you know it's the best option. Olivia's talents would be wasted at public school. Welcome." Before we start today's story, share your location below. Let's see how far these tales reach. New here? Join our growing family by subscribing. Now, let's dive into our story. I'm McKenna, and this is the moment I learned that love has a price tag. My stepmother's voice drips honey, the same sweetness she used when convincing Dad to let her redecorate Mom's garden. Besides, McKenna's college fund is just sitting there. She hasn't even decided on a school yet. The words punch through my chest. 3 years of straight A's, countless all-nighters, and endless SAT prep, all to secure a spot at Northwestern, Mom's alma mater. My acceptance letter sits upstairs, hidden under my mattress like a dirty secret. I don't know, Val. Sarah, McKenna's mother, she wanted. Sarah's been gone for 8 years, Thomas. We need to focus on the family we have now. I sink down onto the stairs, pressing my palms against the cool wood. The family we have now. As if I'm some relic from a past life, gathering dust in the corners of their perfect new beginning. Through the crack in the door, I watch Dad run his hands through his graying hair, a gesture so familiar it hurts. Maybe we could take out a loan instead. Don't be ridiculous. Our credit's already stretched thin with the house renovations. Valerie's heels click across the floor as she moves closer to him. McKenna will understand. She's always been practical. Practical. Like when I smiled through Olivia's sweet 16 party while wearing a dress from Target. Like when I gave up my room, the one with the bay window where Mom used to read to me, because Olivia needed a bigger closet. "We'll talk to her tomorrow," Dad says, his voice heavy with resignation. "After dinner." Perfect timing. I'm making her favorite pasta. Valerie laughs softly. The way to any teenager's heart, right? Wrong. Mom's lasagna was my favorite, but I stopped mentioning that years ago when Valerie's smile would tighten at the corners. I stand up slowly, careful not to make a sound. The scattered photos stare up at me, Mom's face frozen in various moments of joy. Her wedding day. My 5th birthday. The last Christmas before the cancer took her. One photo catches my eye. Mom sitting in her garden, surrounded by the roses she loved so much. On the back, in her elegant handwriting, "Remember who you are, my fierce girl. Never let anyone dim your light." My fingers trace the words as something cold and hard settles in my chest. They want to talk tomorrow. Fine. But I won't be the practical, understanding daughter they expect. Not anymore. I gather the photos quietly, tucking them into my sweater. As I climb the stairs to my room, I hear Valerie's laugh again, followed by Dad's low murmur. They sound so satisfied, so certain of their plans for my future. But they forgot something important. Mom didn't raise me to be practical. She raised me to be fierce. I close my bedroom door and pull out my phone, scrolling to Grandma Ruth's number. If they want to play games with my future, they're about to learn that I know how to play too. And unlike them, I'm not afraid to go all in. Tomorrow, they'll realize their perfect little family has cracks they never noticed. And I'm done pretending those cracks don't exist. Grandma Ruth's kitchen smells like cinnamon and truth. She sets a steaming mug of tea in front of me, her silver rings clicking against the ceramic. "They're doing what with your college fund?" "Using it to send precious Olivia to Canterbury Prep." The words taste bitter, like the dregs at the bottom of my cup. Dad didn't even try to fight it. Grandpa Henry looks up from his crossword puzzle, his jaw tight. That money was Sarah's life insurance. She specifically set it aside for your education. Try telling that to Valerie. I pull out my phone, showing them the acceptance letter from Northwestern. I got an early decision. Full tuition would have been covered by Mom's fund. Ruth's hand trembles as she sits down. When did you find out? Last night. They're planning to break the news over Valerie's famous pasta dinner tonight. I laugh, but it comes out wrong, like broken glass. As if carbs can soften the blow of stealing my future. The kitchen clock ticks between us. Through the window, I watch a cardinal land on the bird feeder Henry built last summer. Mom used to love watching the birds here, sketching them in her journal while Ruth baked. There's something else you should know, Ruth says, exchanging a look with Henry. We've decided to move to Pine Grove Retirement Community. What? But this house is yours. Henry puts down his pencil. We signed the papers last week. It was always meant to be your inheritance, but given the circumstances. My tea goes cold as they explain. The house, this beautiful Victorian with its wraparound porch and secret reading nooks, has been in Mom's family for generations. Ruth and Henry kept it in trust after Mom died, knowing Dad would never sell his new wife's dream home to move here. Does Dad know? Not yet. Ruth reaches across the table, her fingers wrapping around mine. The timing is up to you, sweetheart. A car door slams outside. Through the window, I see Olivia stepping out of her friend's Mercedes, designer shopping bags hanging from her arms. The same arms that hugged me last Christmas while she whispered, "Don't worry, you'll find somewhere cheaper than Northwestern. Community college isn't that bad." My phone buzzes. Dad, where are you? Valerie's starting dinner soon. I should go. I stand up, but my legs feel heavy. They're waiting. McKenna. Henry's voice stops me at the door. Your mother never backed down from a fight. Neither should you. The drive home is short, but my mind races faster than the car. The house looms ahead, my house, technically. The thought sits like a weapon in my pocket. Inside, Valerie's bustling around the kitchen, humming as she stirs her sauce. There you are. I was worried you'd miss our family dinner. Family. The word sticks in my throat. Sorry, I was at Grandma's. I moved past her to set the table, counting forks like ammunition. Need any help? No. You just relax. Your father and I have something important to discuss with you. Dad appears in the doorway, his tie loosened. Princess, where were you all afternoon? We tried calling. Princess. He hasn't called me that since before Mom died. The manipulation is so obvious it almost makes me laugh. Olivia bounces in, still in her shopping clothes. Daddy, look what Jessica's mom bought her for the Canterbury Spring Formal. Can I get one too? We'll talk about it later, sweetheart. But his smile gives away the answer. We sit down to eat, the pasta steaming on our plates like a last meal. Valerie chatters about her garden club, Dad nods at appropriate intervals, and Olivia texts under the table. A perfect family dinner, except for the grenade I'm holding. So, McKenna, Valerie starts, her voice honey-sweet. Your father and I wanted to discuss something with you. About your future. I twirl pasta around my fork, watching the sauce drip red like blood. Funny. I have something to discuss too. The table goes quiet. In my pocket, my phone buzzes with a text from Ruth. Remember who you are, fierce girl. I look up, meeting their expectant faces. Time to light the match. The hallways at Jefferson High feel different now, like everyone's whispering about secrets I didn't know I had. Emma Chen, my lab partner since freshman year, switches seats when I walk into AP Chemistry. Two girls from volleyball practice suddenly need to use the bathroom when I enter the locker room. Then I see the Instagram post. Some people will do anything for attention. Olivia's caption reads beneath a photo of me at last week's college acceptance celebration. Even lie about getting into Northwestern to make their family feel guilty. Hashtag pathological liar, hashtag get help. My hands shake as I scroll through the comments. Olivia's friends have been busy, sharing stories about how I've made up my acceptance, how I'm jealous of her Canterbury acceptance, how I'm unstable since mom died. Is it true? Emma asks during lunch, sliding into the seat across from me. About Northwestern. I pull out my phone, ready to show her the acceptance letter, but stop myself. The fact that she needs proof makes my stomach turn. You've known me for 4 years, Em. She fidgets with her water bottle. It's just. Olivia showed everyone the Northwestern acceptance rates, and your grades freshman year weren't. My grades. The cafeteria noise fades to a buzz. You mean when my mom was dying of cancer? I didn't mean. Save it. I stand up, my untouched lunch tray like a barrier between us. Ask Olivia about her Canterbury acceptance. I'm sure she'd love to tell you all about her perfect grades. I find Olivia in the senior parking lot after school, surrounded by her usual crowd. She's wearing mom's old pearl necklace, the one that disappeared from my jewelry box last month. She claimed Dad gave it to her as an early birthday present. Taking more family heirlooms, Olivia? My voice carries across the lot. Or just more of my future? The circle parts as I approach. Olivia's smile doesn't reach her eyes. Having another meltdown, sis. Maybe you should see someone about these delusions. Delusions? I pull out my phone, opening the Northwestern portal. Like how you're telling everyone I faked my acceptance? Or how about the delusion that those are your pearls? Daddy gave these to me. Her hand flies to the necklace. Just like he's giving me the opportunity one deserve at Canterbury. It's not my fault you're not good enough for. The crack of my palm against her cheek echoes through the parking lot. Phones appear instantly, recording. Olivia's eyes go wide, then fill with tears right on cue. She hit me. She sobs, clutching her face. Did everyone see that? She's completely lost it. Security arrives within minutes. In the principal's office, Valerie plays the concerned stepmother perfectly, dabbing at Olivia's non-existent bruise while Dad stares at the floor. Given the circumstances, Principal Martinez says, and McKenna's emotional state, we're recommending a 3-day suspension. Emotional state. I laugh, the sound sharp enough to make Dad flinch. You mean like having my college funds stolen? Or watching my stepsister wear my dead mother's jewelry? McKenna, please. Dad finally speaks, his voice tired. Let's not do this here. Why not? Isn't this what family's all about? Pretending everything's fine while we steal from each other. Valerie gasps, pressing Olivia closer. Thomas, do you hear how she's talking? Maybe we should consider getting her some help. The only help I need is a lawyer. I stand up, my chair scraping against the floor. Those pearls belong to my mother, and that college fund was her life insurance money. But go ahead, keep pretending I'm the crazy one. Principal Martinez clears her throat. Perhaps some family counseling would be beneficial. Family. I look at Dad, really look at him, seeing the gray in his hair, the new lines around his mouth. We stopped being a family the moment he chose their happiness over Mom's memory. I walk out before anyone can respond, my footsteps echoing through the empty halls. Outside, the afternoon sun hits the pearl necklace around Olivia's neck, making it gleam like tears. My phone buzzes, a text from Ruth. Come home, fierce girl. We need to talk. Home. Not the house where Dad and Valerie are rewriting my history. Not the school where my truth has become another Instagram lie. Home is where Mom's roses still bloom, where her memory isn't something to be stolen or sold. And it's time to take it back. Ruth's hands shake as she slides the manila envelope across her kitchen table. Your mother wanted you to have this when you turned 18. I've been waiting for the right moment. Inside, I find property deeds, bank statements, and a letter dated 2 weeks before Mom died. The paper feels thin, fragile, like butterfly wings between my fingers. She knew, didn't she? My voice cracks. About Dad and Valerie. Ruth nods slowly. Sarah was many things, but naive wasn't one of them. She saw how Thomas looked at Valerie at the hospital fundraisers. The truth settles like ash in my mouth. Mom's cancer didn't just take her life, it gave them their beginning. While she was dying, they were falling in love. There's more. Henry appears in the doorway, holding a dusty shoebox. Your mother kept recordings. Voice memos, mostly. She was documenting things. The first recording starts with a whisper. Mom's voice, weak but determined. If you're listening to this, McKenna, then I need you to understand why I did what I did. My hands grip the table's edge as her story unfolds. The suspicious bank transfers. The late-night phone calls. Dad's business trips that coincided with Valerie's charity events. Mom knew she was dying, but she also knew Dad was already gone. She transferred everything into a trust, Ruth explains. The house, her inheritance, your college fund, all legally protected. Thomas never knew. But Dad said the college fund was a separate account he controlled. Henry's voice hardens. He's been lying, trying to access money that was never his. A text lights up my phone. Dad, we need to talk about what happened at school. Family meeting tonight. Family. The word tastes different now, poisoned by 8 years of lies. They can't touch any of it without your signature, Ruth says. Not the house, not the trust, not even those pearls Olivia's wearing. Everything belongs to you. The power of this knowledge feels heavy, like Mom's old pearl necklace around my neck. I could destroy them with a single word. Make them feel as helpless as I've felt. But Mom's voice plays again from the recorder. Remember, fierce girl, revenge is easy. Wisdom is harder. What should I do? I ask, but I'm not sure who I'm asking, Ruth, Henry, or Mom's ghost. That depends, Henry says, on what kind of person you want to be. Another text buzzes. Olivia, Dad's really upset. If you apologize tonight, maybe we can fix this. I'll even let you borrow the pearls sometime, face blowing a kiss. The rage rises like a tide, but beneath it something else stirs. Understanding. Mom didn't leave me these weapons to destroy our family. She left them to protect me from becoming like them. I need to go home, I say, standing. Ruth touches my arm. You are home. No. I gather the documents, careful with Mom's letter. I need to go to the house. There's a family meeting tonight. McKenna, Henry starts, worried. It's okay. I manage a smile. Mom taught me how to fight smart, remember? Outside, the setting sun turns everything golden, like the world's been dipped in honey. Mom's roses bloom in Ruth's garden, their petals catching the light like tiny flames. My phone buzzes one last time. Valerie, we only want what's best for everyone, sweetheart. Let's talk this through as a family. I think of Mom, dying but still fighting, not with anger or accusations, but with quiet, careful planning. Protecting me until I was ready to protect myself. The manila envelope weighs nothing in my hands, but its contents could change everything. Tonight, at their carefully orchestrated family meeting, they'll try to paint me as the villain, the unstable daughter, the jealous sister, the ungrateful stepdaughter. But Mom taught me something they've forgotten: real power doesn't shout. It whispers. And I've got 8 years of whispers tucked safely in this envelope. Time to show them what fierce really means. The family meeting feels like a carefully staged play. Valerie's arranged us around the dining room table, Dad at the head, her at his right, Olivia beside her. The perfect family tableau, with me as the disruptive element. Mom's pearl necklace still gleams at Olivia's throat. She touches it constantly, like a talisman. We're worried about you, sweetheart. Valerie reaches across the table, but I pull my hands back. Your behavior lately, the incident at school. Let's talk about behavior. I place Mom's manila envelope on the table. Like accessing accounts that don't belong to you. Dad's face pales. What are you talking about? The college fund wasn't yours to take. I slide the bank statements toward him. Mom made sure of that. Valerie's smile freezes. Thomas, what is she? 8 years. My voice stays steady, the way Mom's did in her recordings. 8 years of trying to access accounts you knew weren't yours. Did you think no one was watching? That money was meant for your future, Dad starts. You're right. It was. I pull out Mom's letter next. Just like this house was meant for my future. The silence that follows feels like glass about to shatter. Olivia's hand flies to the pearls again, her fingers trembling. What do you mean, the house? Valerie's voice rises slightly. Thomas. He doesn't know. I meet Dad's eyes. Mom left everything in trust. The house, the accounts, even those pearls Olivia's wearing. Everything belongs to me. Olivia yanks the necklace off like it's burning her. Daddy, tell her she's lying. The papers are right there. I nod to the envelope. Maybe you should read them, Dad. See how Mom spent her last months protecting me while you were falling in love with Valerie. The color drains from his face. How did you? The voice memos. I pull out my phone. Mom documented everything. The calls, the meetings, the transfers. She knew what was happening, even from her hospital bed. Valerie stands abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. Thomas, we need to call our lawyer. Your lawyer can't help. I stay seated, channeling Mom's quiet strength. Everything's legal. Everything's binding. The only question is what happens next. Are you threatening us? Olivia's voice cracks. In our own home. Not your home. The words feel like keys unlocking something inside me. Never was. Dad reaches for the papers with shaking hands. McKenna, princess, we can work this out. We're family. Family. I laugh, but it sounds more like breaking. Family doesn't steal from each other. Family doesn't lie and manipulate and gaslight. Family doesn't fall in love while their wife is dying of cancer. The last words hit him like physical blows. Valerie moves to touch his shoulder, but he flinches away. What do you want? Valerie's mask finally cracks, showing the fear beneath. Money. The house. Those stupid pearls. I stand slowly, gathering the documents. I want what Mom wanted, the truth. And now everyone has it. You can't just throw us out, Olivia whispers. Where would we go? The question hangs in the air, heavy with implications. I think of Mom's voice in the recordings, tired but determined. Sometimes protection means making hard choices, fierce girl. You have 3 months. The words taste like ashes and victory. That's more notice than you gave Mom when you started planning your new life together. Dad's head drops into his hands. Valerie's perfect makeup is starting to run. Olivia stares at the pearls on the table like they're serpents. I walk to the door, then pause. One more thing. I turn back, meeting each of their eyes. Mom forgave you, Dad. In her last recording, she said she forgave you. I'm not sure I can do the same. Outside, the evening air feels clean, washing away 8 years of pretense. My phone buzzes with a text from Ruth. You okay, fierce girl? I look back at the house, my house, where 3 people are realizing their carefully constructed world just collapsed. Mom's roses still bloom in the front garden, their petals catching the last light like drops of blood. Dad shows up at Ruth's house 3 days before the eviction deadline. He looks smaller somehow, his suit hanging loose like borrowed clothes. I watch from the kitchen window as he paces the front walk, stopping to stare at Mom's roses. You don't have to talk to him, Henry says behind me. But I do. Because the man outside isn't the confident father who betrayed us or the weak husband who fell for Valerie. He's something worse, he's broken. The porch steps creak under our weight as we sit, keeping careful distance between us. The bank called, he says finally. We're underwater on the mortgage. Valerie's credit cards, Olivia's school fees. He rubs his face. Everything was built on lies. Like your marriage to Mom. He flinches. I loved your mother. While falling in love with someone else. It wasn't, he stops, a shoulder slumping. You're right. I don't have any excuses left. A cardinal lands in Mom's rose bush, bright against the thorns. Where will you go? Valerie's sister has a place in Cleveland. His voice cracks. Olivia's devastated about leaving her school, her friends. She blames me. They both do. Good. The word hangs between us, sharp and honest. Dad turns, and for a moment I see tears in his eyes. I deserve that. But McKenna, you're becoming. What? Cold. Cruel. I stand up, anger burning through my careful control. Wonder where I learned that. Like them. He whispers it. You're becoming like them. The truth hits like a physical blow. In my pocket, Mom's voice recorder feels heavy. I'd been listening to her final messages last night, not the angry ones about Dad's betrayal, but the quiet ones. Her hopes for my future. Her prayers for peace. We found more recordings, I say. From the hospital. You never visited on Thursdays because you were with Valerie. Mom knew. She sat there alone, planning my future while you planned yours. He covers his face with his hands. I can't change the past. No. But I can protect my future. I pull out a folder, more documents from Mom's trust. The house isn't just property. It's everything you and Valerie tried to hide. The transfers, the accounts, the affairs. Mom documented everything. What are you saying? Leave quietly. Take your perfect new family and disappear. My voice sounds like Mom's in those final recordings, tired but resolute. Or I release everything. Your firm, your clients, everyone will know. You destroy me completely. His voice breaks. Your own father. The cardinal takes flight, startled by something we can't see. I think of Olivia wearing Mom's pearls, of Valerie redecorating Mom's garden. Of 8 years pretending we were family while they dismantled my mother's legacy piece by piece. You destroyed yourself, I say. I'm just delivering the consequences. He stands slowly, aged decades in minutes. Sarah wouldn't want this for you. This anger, this revenge. Don't you dare tell me what Mom would want. The words tear from my throat. You lost that right when you left her to die alone. He reaches for me, but I step back. Through the window, I see Ruth watching, her hand pressed against the glass. 3 days, I remind him. Then everything comes out. He walks away, shoulders bent like he's fighting a strong wind. I wait until his car disappears before my legs give out. Ruth finds me on the porch steps, clutching Mom's recorder like a lifeline. Did it feel like you thought it would? She asks softly. I press play on the recorder, Mom's voice filling the space between heartbeats. Remember, fierce girl, revenge is easy. Living with it is harder. I don't know who I am anymore, I whisper. Ruth sits beside me, her warmth steady and sure. You're Sarah's daughter. And sometimes being fierce means knowing when to put down the sword. The cardinal returns to the roses, settling among the thorns like it belongs there. In 3 days, I'll have everything I wanted, justice, revenge, my mother's house empty of their presence. But Mom's voice plays on, the hardest victory isn't winning, sweet girl. It's knowing when you've won enough. I close my eyes, feeling the weight of consequences settling around me like chains. The moving truck idles in the driveway like a waiting storm. Through the bay window, I watch Valerie directing movers with sharp gestures while Olivia sits on the front steps. Still wearing Mom's pearls despite everything. I unlock the front door for the last time. Tomorrow, this will be my house, empty of their presence, full of Mom's memories. Victory should taste sweeter than this. Come to gloat. Olivia doesn't look up from her phone. Come to make sure you don't take anything else that isn't yours. She touches the pearls. Daddy gave these to me. No, he didn't. I hold out my hand. Mom left them for me in trust, just like everything else you tried to steal. We didn't steal anything. She stands, tears streaming down her face. You're the one stealing our home. Your home. The laugh that escapes me sounds foreign. You mean the home where you redecorated my mother's garden? Where you took her jewelry? Where you planned to take my future? I never. She stops, color draining from her face as Valerie appears behind me. Olivia, get in the car. Valerie's voice is steel wrapped in silk. Now. But Olivia doesn't move. Tell her, Mom. Tell her about the letters. What letters? Valerie's mask cracks slightly. Nothing. Just. Show her. Olivia pulls an envelope from her jacket. Show her what kind of person her precious mother really was. The envelope is old, the paper yellowed. Inside, I find letters in Mom's handwriting, dozens of them. All addressed to Dad, all dated during her final months. Read them. Valerie's voice trembles. Read how your perfect mother threatened to expose Thomas if he left her. How she used her illness to manipulate him. Why do you think she documented everything? My hands shake as I scan the pages. Mom's words, desperate and angry, if you leave now, I'll make sure everyone knows what you did. And, you won't have anything left when I'm done. Sound familiar? Valerie steps closer. Like mother, like daughter. You're both so good at revenge. The truth hits like a physical blow. Mom wasn't just protecting me, she was fighting back, using the same weapons I'm using now. She was dying. The words taste like ash. You were taking everything from her. She was keeping Thomas trapped. Valerie's composure shatters. He was miserable, but she wouldn't let him go. So yes, we waited. And yes, we planned. Because she left us no choice. Dad appears in the doorway, looking worn and gray. That's enough, Val. No, they should both know the truth. Valerie grabs the pearls from Olivia's neck, snapping the strand. Pearls scatter across the porch like tears. You want your mother's legacy? Here it is, manipulation and spite, wrapped in righteousness. I stare at the broken necklace, at the scattered pearls catching sunlight. Mom's voice plays in my head, remember who you are, fierce girl. But who am I? My mother's daughter, carrying her anger like an inheritance. Or something else. Keep the house. The words surprise even me. Keep the pearls, keep everything. What? Olivia whispers. I don't want to be this person anymore. I look at Dad, really look at him. Mom chose revenge. I'm choosing to be different. McKenna, Dad starts, but I cut him off. I'm going to Northwestern. I'll find my own way there. I pull out Mom's recorder, placing it with the letters. Keep these too. We've all heard enough ghosts. Valerie's mask crumples entirely. Why? Because Mom taught me to be fierce. I step back, feeling lighter somehow. But she never taught me how to be free. I walk away from the house, their house now, truly theirs. Behind me, I hear Olivia crying, Valerie calling my name, Dad's heavy silence. But ahead of me, the future stretches clean and empty, ready to be filled with something other than revenge. Mom's last recording plays in my memory. The hardest victory isn't winning, sweet girl. It's knowing when you've won enough. I've won enough. More than enough. It's time to let the ghosts rest. The Northwestern acceptance package sits unopened on Ruth's kitchen table. Outside, the first spring roses are blooming, their petals catching morning light like tiny flames. You should open it, Ruth says, sliding a cup of tea across the table. Financial aid letters don't read themselves. My hands shake slightly as I break the seal. Inside, I find what Mom planned for all along, a full scholarship, based on merit and need. No loans, no compromises, no debts to anyone. She would have been proud, Henry says, his crossword puzzle forgotten. Not because of the money, but because of who you've become. A text lights up my phone. Olivia, found something in my room while packing. Think you should have it. You don't have to go, Ruth says, but I'm already standing. The drive to the house feels different now. The weight of revenge has lifted, leaving something lighter but more complex in its place. Olivia waits on the porch steps, holding a small wooden box I recognize from Mom's dresser. Her hands tremble as she holds it out. I took it the day after your mom died, she confesses. I thought if I had pieces of her, maybe Dad would love me the same way. Inside the box, I find Mom's charm bracelet, each charm telling a story. The paintbrush from my first art show. The book from when I learned to read. The rose from her garden. There's one more thing. Olivia pulls out a folded paper from her pocket. It was inside the box. I never read it. The letter is in Mom's handwriting, dated 3 days before she died. My fierce girl. By now you've probably discovered the truth about your father and Valerie. Maybe you've even chosen revenge, like I did. But I've learned something in these final days. Revenge is a mirror that shows us who we might become if we let pain guide our choices. I choose to let go, not because they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve freedom. Freedom from the anger I've carried, freedom to become someone greater than our combined mistakes. The charms on this bracelet tell your story, not mine, not your father's, but yours alone. Add to it. Make it beautiful. Make it fierce. All my love. Mom. Dad's in his study, Olivia says quietly. He hasn't left since you gave us the house. I find him surrounded by papers and empty coffee cups. He looks up when I enter, his eyes red-rimmed. The pearls, he starts, but I shake my head. Keep them. They're just things. I touch Mom's bracelet on my wrist. I have what matters. He nods slowly, understanding, filling the silence between us. Northwestern. Full scholarship. Mom made sure of it. She always was better at planning than me. He attempts a smile. Better at everything, really. Not everything. I think of Mom's letters, her desperate grip on a failing marriage. She held on too tight sometimes. So did I. And now? I look around his study, at the family photos he kept, the memories he couldn't quite let go of. Now I choose something different. Valerie appears in the doorway, her perfect makeup unable to hide her exhaustion. The movers need to know about the dining room set. Keep it, I say again. Keep it all. But remember why you have it. Understanding passes between us, not forgiveness, not yet, but something like recognition. We're all haunted by choices made in pain. Outside, Ruth's car waits to take me to my new future. But first, I stop in Mom's garden. The roses she planted still bloom, surviving winter, neglect, and change. I add a final charm to the bracelet, a tiny silver key. Not to the house I'm leaving behind, but to the future I'm choosing. A future where being fierce means knowing when to let go, when to bloom despite the thorns. Mom's last gift wasn't the trust or the house or even her careful planning. It was this moment, standing in her garden, choosing to be more than our collected hurts. I touch the key charm one last time, then walk away from the house that was never really home. Behind me, the roses continue blooming, indifferent to who owns them, concerned only with reaching toward the light. The light. The light. The light. The light.